Hello, welcome back to another exciting and intriguing episode of Digital Data Podcast. I'm Cecilia Maundu. I'm a broadcast journalist. I'm a digital security trainer. I work at the intersection of technology, human rights, and journalism. And today we're starting the 16 Days of Activism campaign, and the campaign is about ending violence against women. And today we are talking about online violence. My guest is someone that I've really looked for quite a while. Yes. So every time you see my guest, just know effort has been put. So, and I'm going to allow her to introduce herself because she's a phenomenal woman. She's broken barriers. She's the people we say they will leave the space better than they found it. So that when younger girls come to this space, they will find better conditions. So Zubeidah,
thank you so much. And I'm so
Karibu.
sorry for...
No, it's okay. I mean, good things take time.
Thank you so much for hosting me today. 16 Days of Activism starts a day after my birthday.
Oh,
Where's the
wow.
birthday cake? I think that's where we should start.
Just give me a minute. Yes.
Yeah, so my birthday is on 24th.
And then campaign
Can you imagine? The campaign starts on
Awesome.
25th. Yeah, so I'm truly humbled and honored to be here this day. My name is Zubeida Kananu. I'm a broadcast journalist and the president of Kenya Editors Guild, the first female president of Kenya Editors.
She's the real deal.
Yeah, I'm a woman of many firsts, and I thank God for that because I was also the first female vice president of Kenya Editors Guild.
Wow.
So yes, I've been in media for 16 years.
Wow.
Because I joined while I was still in college. Yeah. So I went to KTN as an intern for 3 months and then they retained me. And 16 years later, I'm still there. I've seen growth over the years and I thank God for it. So, and it calls to show that whenever you give your all to whatever you do, you never know where God will take you.
It is true.
Yeah, because I never imagined holding such a high rank position in the society, and I thank God for that.
I remember when we were in Zambia and you introduced yourself and people are like, oh, we are waiting for the other title, and I could see you're a bit shy.
I know.
And I'm like, oh, wow. So in my mind, I was like, oh, how did she make it there? Knowing the barriers that have been put for us, especially as female journalists,
it's not easy.
And I mean, you're young. So people would expect in your 50s is when now you get that position. But now you are here. You are telling journalists like yourself, it is very possible.
I know. I think I'm the youngest to hold that position so far.
Even at first I was like, oh, you mean she actually got a position?
Yes. At first I was, as you said, I was so naive. I didn't want to come out, vie for that position because the editors hardly knew me. They only knew about this female news anchor from KTN. So when I came to them the first time to vie for the vice president's position, because I vied for it twice, the first time I didn't get, my opponent was Maina from KBC.
Yes.
So, but the vote gap was like 9 votes, and it was my first time. I hadn't even met these editors, and that gave me so much confidence, and the term runs for 2 years. So the next election, I came out and told them that I want to vie for vice president. And I've gotten so much support from editors in media, different media houses, and Churchill has stood with me the entire time. Yeah, so, and after his term ended, I told them that I'm going to vie. At first, I didn't want to do it, but my friend and colleague, Mary Atwoli, she kept telling me that, what's the worst that can happen? Just come out and vie. Even my bosses in the office were like, why don't you do it? We'll support you. We'll support you. And bearing in mind the state of media right now, you're supposed to campaign throughout all media houses to seek for votes. Do like grassroots campaigns.
Door to door.
Yeah, so you go there, and for you to be able to vote, you have to have paid your annual subscription. So most journalists had not paid because of the current state. Media sustainability has become a big issue. Most journalists are going for months without pay.
Yes.
So you come to them, you tell them, please subscribe, pay your annual subscription so that you're able to vote.
Eligible to vote.
Yes, and they tell you, so between buying food and paying rent and paying for, it was quite a challenge. And the fact that many women came out to vie during this year's election, you go somewhere and they're like, oh, so this has become a women thing, because even my VP is a woman, and then out of 11 council members, 6 of them are women. So it's a first as well. It has never happened. I think Kenya Editors Guild is the only institution in Kenya that has attained that gender principle, the gender requirement. So, and it wasn't easy, but I thank God they trusted us. They didn't see us as women. They saw us as leaders.
People who can deliver.
What we brought to the table was sellable to them. And that's why they entrusted us with these positions. And I'm grateful. So it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter where you're from. If you give your heart to whatever you want to do and commit to it, you can conquer many barriers. So I've seen it firsthand.
Your true definition of breaking the glass ceiling, and also your a definition of that it is actually possible. And we can confidently say as journalists, it is our time. It is our season. Now we are here.
Yes.
I'm very excited for you. And it is such people who make us also people in the field know that it is possible. So today we're talking about 16 days of activism. And this episode has been made possible by an organization called PEN America. Please check them online. They have created an online harassment manual where they talk about the issue of cyber violence against women journalists. They give tips on how to be able to stay safe, how media houses can be able to help their employees, how we can create cyber communities. So please make sure you check them out. I will also put the link down here. So Zubeida, you have been a victim of online violence.
Goodness.
Oh my goodness.
It's been tough.
Oh my God.
Yes, you're trolled until
you are trolled.
You
and
feel like you
now,
just want to dig yourself a grave. And, you know.
And you still woke up and went to vie for a position. That's what I keep telling people. Like, if you don't allow it, if you fight, because it's not easy, and we keep saying that hate hurts at all level. You know, I interviewed one of the female journalists, and they told me, you will get 1,000 comments. Out of those 1,000, 5 will be negative, and your mind will always be concentrating on the negative, you know. So you have been trolled before. Please just explain your experience online.
Oh, it's been tough. You know, since COVID, the whole world shifted to social media. You know, that's where we feel, you know, we belong.
Yes.
Because even when you look at legacy media and social media, most people consume news online. You know, like even CA's last report indicated that there are like 21.7 million Kenyans online. So that's where everybody is strategizing to be. Even newsmakers, that's where you want to be. But currently, social media, with all due respect, has become so toxic. You don't feel at home in social media, especially if you're female journalists. And even politicians, female politicians have been targeted.
Any woman who has a voice online, you become an enemy.
You want to reach out to your audiences online. You want to engage them online, but it has become so hard for us. Every time you come out to express yourself, freedom of expression has become hard on social media. Every time you post something, they troll you. And the worst thing is that they don't just target you, they target even innocent people that have nothing to do with what you've posted, like your kids, like your spouses. They bring them into the conversation, and you wonder, like, why are you doing all this? So it was during the electioneering period. You know, before the elections, I had a conversation with the current president, William Ruto, and there are questions that I asked him that, you know, were unpopular with especially his supporters online. So that's where the trolling started. You know, they call you all sorts of names. They tell you that you're pro-opposition, you want to bring him down. And these are innocent questions that I was asking. Like, what plans do you have for farmers? Because this is your backyard. What have you done for them so far? But it became so unpopular. Most of them say that I was paid by the opposition to ask those questions. And I'm like, no, you know, because even during campaigns, the Kenya Kwanza government, then during the campaigns, felt like the media was not in
against them. That was the talk.
So that was what was brought even to me, you know. So many of them were saying, even my boss in the office paid me. They were sending me questions and blah blah blah. A lot was said. I was trolled. I was trending for, I think, days. 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, people were talking about stuff that I didn't even know existed. So But I ignored it. I ignored it. And then came the presidential debate. You know, when I was hosting the current governor of Nairobi, you know, he came late to the debate, and his opponent, Igade, asked a question. Like, we even doubt whether, what's his name? Sakaja is your name. And I asked him, is Sakaja your name? Based on what his opponent had said. The question didn't even come from me. But I was trolled for that, even by people who didn't watch or follow the interview. And you wonder, where are we going with all this? Why are we so negative? Why are we so toxic? Why do we want to bring people down? You know? So, and, you know, people started saying things about my husband. They started saying things about my children. They started digging out, you know, info about my children, posting photos, and it's really psychologically draining. It really traumatized me. It really affected me on psychologically. And I'm like, I don't want to be here. Like, I can't stand this. Yeah. And you know, that's even when we were in Zambia, the same conversation came out where people were saying female journalists no longer feel safe online. So they'd rather close down their accounts or just be there as spectators following the conversations, because every time you want to engage, people want to bring you down. And that was me. To date, I don't think I've healed from it. No matter how positive the feedback on the comments is, I don't read comments. I'll post a photo or whatever I post there, but I'll not go down to read the comments, because I don't want anything. I don't like the negativity. I don't like a negative vibe. I don't thrive in negativity at all. So I avoid reading comments. And I've engaged many journalists, and it's the same thing. You know, there's a colleague from NTV. She's a boss there, Pamela. You see, she'll come to social media and post a headline about the next day's newspaper, and people turn the conversation. They don't look at what she's posted, like the headline. They start now targeting her as an individual. And you wonder, why? Why do we do that? You know, it's really traumatizing. And you've seen over the days, over the years, so many female journalists no longer engage online.
Completely.
Yeah. So we've just been turned to zombies.
And you see, it's so sad, because Zubeidah, also, we are here encouraging this young generation of journalists who are coming, like, embrace the digital platform.
Yes.
You actually don't need to be employed. You can leave college and but is this platform we're talking about that is so toxic, that is so hostile. So now there's something you talked about, you don't read comment. You know, that is also a form of self-care. In this online harassment manual, there's a part they talk about self-care. I would want to know, what did you do to take care of yourself, your mental well-being first? Because, you know, if you're not well mentally, then you can't even do your job. And Zubeidah, for sure, you trended. You know, there's a day I woke up, because I'm very active on Twitter. I'm like, oh, she's still trending on this thing? You know, the memes, the videos and everything. What did you do?
It got to a point, because with all this, and then I lost my mom along the way, I just decided to take a break from social media. I took a 1-month break to just heal and reflect. And I just decided to, yes, not read comments, but also take a break. And I think it helped. It helped a lot. So even now, when I go to social media, most of the time, you can even tell my accounts are not so active because I hardly post. So unless it's something to do with my show, like especially on X, I'll only post a poster about a show I'm working on that day, what's the guest I'm inviting. That's the farthest I go. And then on the other platforms, you know, I just don't post as often as it's supposed to be. Yeah, I don't post at all. I'm not as active. Yeah, but during COVID, I was on TikTok and I was doing all these, you know, videos, and I would share them. It was easy. It was fun. I did it just for fun, but I hardly post stuff on social media unless I've gone on a trip and then I just want to post a photo about where I am and then tell Kenyans about all my audiences
your
online,
audience
about this place I've been to, this different, you know, experience and yeah. But I hardly engage people online.
And you see, now we always say the goal of the perpetrators is to get people offline. You know,
I know.
They're like, this is what we wanted. So how can we win this war? Because I always say, like, if we go on the way we are going, we're going to lose the voices of the next generation, because I would not want to see my younger cousin or sister getting into journalism and going through what I see you people, especially you people in the front line. You know, as we are backbenchers, so in the front line. So how do you think we can work on this, especially now that you sit at the helm of such a powerful body in this country?
And I'm happy with the bold step that the Ministry of ICT has taken in trying to work around this. They've heard our voice, because we come out all the time to tell them about, yes, we have Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act,
yes,
but
Section 27, but it's
but
not being
it's,
felt.
yeah.
Yes.
So we've engaged them several times, and about 2 months ago, they established a task force that brings together different people, different voices from different walks of life, to engage and look at existing laws and policies to see what is working, what is not working, what needs to be put in place. And one of the laws that we're looking into is that Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act, like what needs to be done to strengthen, and to ensure that the media space, the digital space is safe for everyone. So the conversation is still ongoing, and I thank God and the ministry and the government for entrusting us. We as media, we are hardly engaged. We are hardly brought to the decision-making table.
Yes.
So, but this time round, we are part of the task force. So we are interrogating the existing laws and regulations to see how to strengthen these laws and how to ensure that everybody is safe. We've talked about cybercrime, cybersecurity. We've talked about, online GBV. There's so much. So we are engaging, and soon we'll be handing a report to the ministry for implementation. So that's one way, strengthening the existing laws. Because most people who troll you online use pseudo accounts, so you can't even tell who it is. And I've seen different governments through when I travel, I've seen different governments put in place different measures to curb that. The other day I was in China. And the first thing that I noted, like my culture shock, was that most of these social media platforms that we have here don't exist in China. And I told myself, so you can survive for a week, 2 weeks without social media. Most of these social media digital platforms are not in China. So, but I felt constrained because I want to communicate with people back home. We are so used, like when you wake up in the morning, you want to see what people are saying on Twitter, what people are saying on all these digital platforms, what people are saying on WhatsApp, but those platforms don't exist. They have their own platforms that are very well managed, So I hope we'll get there as a country where we're able to manage, the conversations, the engagements online to ensure that they're constructive. Yeah, they're not just there people are not just there to bring each other down,
yes,
or have this negativity, this war online. It's not helping us. I think being a platform where all these great minds are, we need to have constructive engagements that will build the country. We are in a democratic country, so we need to ensure that everybody feels safe online and offline. So on the other hand, we've seen media houses set up gender desks, which is really helping. People are being trained, people are specializing in telling gender related stories, and it's really working. Like at Standard Group, we have the Women Network that is, we use it to advocate for the rights, gender equality, dealing with this issue of sexual harassment. And through that, we've seen different media houses put in place gender harassment policies, and it's really helping. Before you could hardly hear people talk about sexual harassment in the newsrooms, but with the sexual harassment policies, it's really helping. That's why nowadays you can hardly hear of anyone who has been harassed in the newsroom. So, and HR from different media houses engage their staff about these issues. They tell you this, when you're harassed, this is what you do, this is who you go to, and blah blah blah. So it's really, really, we've seen a lot of difference, yeah. So, and even having female leaders in leadership is also
Exactly. That's what I was coming to. I'm like, I mean, it
yeah.
means that something is actually done.
Yes. So it's really, really helping. And yeah, maybe in the next conversation we need to have about talk about equality in the newsrooms, because when you look at, yes, online, most female journalists or politicians are exiting because they don't feel safe online. But even in our newsrooms, even as it was said during our trip in Zambia, most female journalists are exiting the newsrooms. We need to have that conversation to see what is happening. Is it that the environment is no longer conducive for them, or why is it that most female journalists are exiting? Because even the reports that were shared during that trip, it was indicated that when you look at media houses in Kenya, 67% of journalists in our newsrooms currently are men. So the number of women coming in the newsroom is going down. And those exiting, the number is increasing by the day. Most of them have opted to go to PR consultancy. So it's a conversation that we need to have. But I'm happy that we are engaging on this to see what is being done and what more we need to do. So yes, we are advocating for, right now we have different content creators like you. We have, influencers. Everybody is coming up with their own content. So how do we use these platforms that we have to raise public awareness about GBV, what needs to be done, if you're harassed or if you're targeted, if you're threatened, what you need to do. So engaging at that platform, media we are agenda setters. We are a platform that voices the views of everyone, and we bring these policymakers on board. So the more we keep engaging them, the more we enlighten the public, and the more we bring on board, and put in place legal mechanisms that can be used to address this challenge in society. Yeah, so I think we are moving towards the right direction. Yes.
Well, it's very encouraging to hear such things, especially the issue of laws, because when you look at the cyber computer act, section 27 talks about cyber harassment, but it doesn't define even what is cyber harassment. It doesn't contextualize the crime.
Not many can know when they're being harassed. Like online. What is harassment online?
Exactly. And you see now also a lot of people have hidden under the freedom of expression veil. They're saying, oh, it's freedom of expression, while you're abusing people. So they have used it to hide under it because they no, I was giving my opinion about it. Is it wrong? So Zubeida, not to put you on the spot, we are heading to 16 days of activism. Is there any specific campaign that has been tailored for this time? Because I feel this is the time we need to go big, because I didn't know the percentage is that big, that 67%. And as we are saying, we are losing more people, like they are getting more discouraged so meaning then we will still go back to that notion of old men filled in the newsroom, whereby women issues are being discussed by men, and sometimes they can't relate to our problems. It's the same thing when you discuss about OGBV. Somebody will be like, oh, please. Somebody has not even touched you. It's just online.
I know.
And then people think it's not a big deal.
It's a big deal because it does, as I started by saying, it doesn't only affect you. But these people, they are called, what are they called? Keyboard warriors. They don't only target you. They bring even innocent people that
are not even part of the conversation.
Yes, and you're just posting a story, or you're just engaging in a conversation. Right now we have Twitter space where people from different walks of life engage on different issues. But the minute they see your face there, you become the issue. Like I was even telling my colleagues, what stopped me from posting things online is because every time I post something, a story will be written about it. By the blogs who have zero idea about what I posted or why I posted it or what it was meant for, So it's really bad. It affects you psychologically. It affects your family. It drains you. It's really tough. And as we were saying, many media houses are putting in place different measures, to be able to mitigate this, to be able to deal with this. Even the establishment of gender desks. I think what we need to do moving forward is just keep strengthening these gender desks, and even engaging our staff and colleagues about, existing laws, what sexual harassment policy means, what it's about, because right now, because of the number of experienced journalists exiting the newsroom, we have very young people coming in who are not aware.
Extremely young.
Yeah. So just need to keep engaging them, and also engaging them on how to behave while online, what to post, what not to post, how to deal with these threats online. We need to keep, because most of them are so vulnerable. When every time they're, some of us, although we're trying, we are trying to develop thick skin, to be able to deal or manage all the trolls and harassment online. But most of these young people don't know how to do it, so that's why
their resilience is very thin.
Yeah.
So, but it's good you brought up that point about how to educate female journalists on their digital habits, because some of them are not aware, and you find that's why when they're harassed online, they start asking themselves, what did I do wrong? For example, posting very private information, where your children go to school, you're already putting, the way you said it very well, they didn't just come for you, they came for your children. Poor innocent children who have got no idea, mommy, like your mommy goes to work, so even your husband, you see. And I was in a certain panel, and one of them said that their marriage ended because their husband was not comfortable and kept telling you have to leave this, and she was like, oh, no. And that is, so it shows you how bad it is. So how can we go about educating these journalists on their digital habits? So because any information that you put online can be used against you, including very good information. Some people don't even read that story. They're like, oh, she's posted today, let me say something negative. How can we go about it? When you look at the online harassment manual, it has different sections. It has how to respond, how to prepare, how to even deal with communities. Like now, someone like you, when you went through it, sometimes they say, get friends, your close friends, who can help you even document the information, because you don't read the comments, because you don't want it to affect you. But we're also talking about documentation, which is something I need you to take back to the ICT people. We don't have enough data, because every time I interviewed Jerida one time, and Jerida told me, I didn't go to the police station to do what?
Because who are you even going to report? Because most of these are pseudo accounts. Who are you going to report?
She told me to do what?
And you think, even some of these bloggers are known, but even if you report, you tell yourself, what will be done about it? It has been done before, but
what do about it? But you
guys, I remember, I know this is a conversation that people had at some point. I went to South Sudan. There's a time I was doing a documentary about the late second president of Kenya, and I was interviewing different presidents. So I went to different countries in Africa. So I engaged different presidents, and every time I engaged them, I posted the photos online. Today I have engaged Kikwete. Tomorrow I'm engaging the late president of Zambia, Kaunda. The other day I'm engaging, Uganda President Museveni. Like, I kept posting photos. But when I went to South Sudan, I did an interview with Sudan's President Salva Kiir and posted it online. And immediately after posting that photo, a blogger known to all of us picked the photo and created a story out of it, claiming that I'm dating Salva Kiir. He's on,
No.
Yes, he created a story out of a photo that I myself posted. It's not a photo that was leaked.
It's a photo that you posted.
And I posted all these other presidents, but he just chose to write a story about Salva Kiir, saying that I'm dating him, blah, blah, blah. He said a lot of stuff. But you ask yourself, even if you report him, what will be done about it? And sometimes I tell myself, if you don't engage them, if you don't respond, the conversation will die down eventually. So that's what I've been doing. So if you want to talk. I will not engage you. I will not say anything about it. Write whatever you want to write. So, and that's what most of us choose to do, because you tell yourself, even if you report,
what will happen?
You just waste your time.
Speaking of responding, part of the online harassment manual says like there's a lot of contradicting information about responding, because sometimes you advise don't respond because these trolls. There's a time I was in a meeting with Martha Karua, Honorable Martha Karua, and she said some of these people, they're just looking for ways to gain
They just
followers
want
from your
likes
account.
and clicks,
So
yes.
the minute you respond, and Kenyans are so special, like the minute somebody says negative and you respond, that person can even get 1,000 followers in 10 minutes.
Can you
Like,
imagine?
who is this they have responded
That's why
to?
they do it.
That's why they do it. So they're also trying to gain mileage through your account. So one way is not to respond. I think my main worry is how are we going to collect data if we don't report, because a lot of people don't report, because also online violence has been amplified by victim shaming. You're there going to the police to report and you're like, oh, no, and then there you're like, oh, ulifanya nini huyo mwanaume ndiye alikutukana? Yeah. So how are we going to collect data? Because now that there's that task force, I'm very excited because I'm very hopeful that a solution can be found. But we also need data to inform what we are talking about. So how can we go about this?
Yeah, even when we met last weekend, we met with the task force in Naivasha and we were engaging about that. In Kenya, we lack data. We hardly have, even right now, if you were to go to the websites, government websites, I'm sure we will not even find data around COVID. We have an institution that caters for that, but we hardly have data on anything. So maybe that's where we need to start, so that we know what we are dealing with. And you asked about what else needs to be done. Collaboration. You've talked about the harassment.
Yes, online harassment manual. Yes, by PEN America.
Even engaging journalists. Using that manual to raise awareness, even in our newsroom, internal conversations, offline. Having conversations with online users and all that. So collaboration and engagement with different stakeholders, like the organization that you work for, it will help a great deal. Like, collaborating, working together, engaging, partnering with existing institutions like Kenya Editors Guild. Because at Kenya Editors Guild, one of the things that we do or invest in is ethical journalism, and also skilling our editors, upskilling our editors, journalists in the newsrooms. We do a lot of capacity building, a lot of training. So if we would partner with such institutions, it will help.
And they're also looking for such things. Yes. PEN America is looking for collaboration because they want now to get into this sub-Saharan space, and you are extremely the right person. Yes, because they're very keen. Their online harassment manual is, I'll send it to you, is very, very detailed. Very simple language. Last year, we translated it into Swahili for journalists who are in Kenya and also Tanzania and the rest. And it is available in so many languages, and it is used as very simple language. You learn what is cyber harassment, because as you said, some people are harassed online and they don't know. And they have got no idea.
Most of them don't even know where to report.
Yes.
And at the police stations, they established a gender violence desk, which many people don't know about, where you can report. And I'm happy that we've partnered with them. We've engaged, we've had conversations on TV about that desk, but most people will not go to report. Most people don't even know the kind of evidence that you need when you're going to report. So partnering with different stakeholders, PEN International, partnering with the police, partnering with different institutions that look into the issue of cybersecurity or cybercrime, engaging the public about existing laws, what these laws say, and what you need to do, what action, where you should report, and so on. So it's just, having that regular conversation, using even the cyberspace to reach out to different people, strengthening the existing laws, strengthening the gender desks in our institutions, and so on. I think we are somewhere. We are not where we were. We are not where we want to be, but at least we are heading there. Action is being taken. Coming up with these sexual harassment policies and engaging even your staff about these laws, and it helps a big deal. And even having that one-on-one conversation, or what is it called? Even like women, you can sit together and talk about it. I was hosting someone not so long ago, like 2 days ago, someone who was incarcerated, and she came out of prison and started an organization that brings together people that have been incarcerated, to just engage, talk about their experience, what they should do now they're out. The issue of reintegration in society is a big deal. So how do we deal with that? How do we deal with the society? How do we create job opportunities for these people? Such conversations help a big deal. Even about online GBV, just having that conversation
And
around
it's
the
very
issue,
important.
engaging different women, people that have been affected, in looking for solutions. Solutions don't lie with the government. We have
the tangible solution. And as you said, the media, we are very powerful. We can really rally behind this thing. I think one of the things that Zubeida, I want to ask you as we come to conclusion, the public is yet to accept that online violence is real violence. One of the reasons why I started this podcast is I realize it's a conversation that is missing in the mainstream media, and the mainstream media is not willing to talk about it. So I said, you know what, the technology has given us very different options. So I started this podcast, and I started this podcast in the idea of storytelling. Let them tell their own stories. You've told your own story. It's not me who has told your story, because people believe that the people behind the keyboard are not people. No, they're real people like you, with families who get very hurt because of that. How can we also enlighten the public on the issue of OGBV and tell them, like, this is violence. This person you're abusing is a real person. This person you're creating a pseudo account to abuse is a real person. And also some people do it on their accounts. Like when you follow, because I always, like when I read comments, I find somebody very abusive. I'm like, oh, let me follow their account. They look like a legit account. I'm like, oh, this is someone's son, So how can we also enlighten our public?
By engaging them regularly and telling them about, like you've talked about the harassment policy or documents.
Yes.
Even engaging them online. We have different opportunities online, like the Twitter space.
Yes, Twitter
is a
space,
good platform to just engage them, to raise awareness about, even the existing laws and even what harassment is. As we started by saying, not many people even know when they're being harassed. Not many people even know where to report when they're harassed. So by having such conversations and even using our media platforms to engage the public, seek their opinion about, what they've gone through, what they feel needs to be done. And I think it will help, but we hardly have these conversations. Kenyans, we love politics. Most of the time we spend more
politics and gossip.
So engaging them on online harassment, what it is, how to tell when you're being harassed, what you need to do when you're harassed, who to report to, who to reach out to, and also emphasizing on the issue of therapy. It helps. Most of us think that when you go for therapy,
you're losing it.
You're mad. You're crazy. Like therapy is just for people who are supposed to be at Matari Hospital. That's how people look at it. They feel like going for therapy is an embarrassment. Like, how do you go to speak to a psychologist? It means then you're nuts.
You are not okay.
You're not okay. But no, therapy helps a big deal.
And funny you bring it up, because the manual also talks about it. How can you take care of your well-being, especially during that time, talking with therapy. And also another idea, now that you are in the Editors Guild, I know every time you see a leader, you want to give them so many things to do, but also you can talk about pro bono services, because some of the journalists, as you're saying, like the media right now is doing so bad. So you're imagining you have children here, and then will you go to a therapist? Because they're also not very cheap. Well, they're not extremely expensive, because they're those which are affordable, but also bringing in such incentive, like having a therapist, an in-house therapist, to be able to talk to the journalists when they're willing to talk about their issue.
Yes, because we've heard of many who've committed suicide, and I'm sure it's because, and the most unfortunate thing is that people don't see the faces in media as human beings.
Yes.
Like, I'll walk to a supermarket to shop, and they're like, hata yeye anafanyanga shopping. I'm going somewhere to buy tomatoes. They're like, hata yeye ananunuanga nyanya. We're also human beings. We also get affected the same way everybody else gets affected. We go to these areas where you see dead bodies, dead sick people. Like right now with the floods, there's so much going on. Sometimes when we go home, like, you feel completely drained. Sometimes you just feel like you need to unwind. You just need to to detox. You know, our well-being has really been affected. One, yes, because of the current situation in media sustainability. Many people are losing jobs every day. Many are going without pay and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you're also human. You need therapy. You need someone to talk. You need support as a support system. But we tend to forget that. We forget that journalists are also human beings. We forget that they are also affected the same way everybody else is affected, you know? So, yes, as you're saying, we need to have like all this. Standard Group, for example, holds health talks all the time. They bring on board, you know, psychologists, therapists to speak to, counselors to speak to. So, and I think that's what we all need to embrace. We need to bring these people on board to just speak to our journalists. And also our journalists, we need to create time for us because we hardly prioritize us.
Because also, it's better coming to the defense of the journalists. We've not been raised like that. We've been raised to believe that is selfish. So we don't know any better.
We need to change
we
that.
need to change that. Yeah, we need to change that that narrative.
And because you started by asking about how I got here, just briefly, you know, if you don't prioritize you won't grow. If you don't prioritize you, going back to school, you know, taking up these short courses, attending training, going for therapy, you know, doing all this and that. If you don't do that, you won't grow. You stagnate. You stagnate because the people that are coming into the newsroom with different other skills will be prioritized over you. You know, it doesn't matter how long you've been in the newsroom. But if you don't, you know, you don't network, you don't go out for workshops, you don't network with people, how will you grow? So that's why I'm emphasizing on the aspect of you have to prioritize you for you to be able to grow. If you don't do that, then you keep complaining about not being promoted. You keep complaining about stagnating. You keep complaining about poor pay. But if you keep pushing yourself, I love challenging myself. I love even to date, I hear of an online conversation or training, I will enroll for it. So that's what we need to do because media is evolving. A lot is changing. So we have to change with the changing times. So if you don't prioritize you, then
yeah. So as we come to the conclusion of this episode, I would also want to know one thing: how can we, as especially female journalists, be able to take advantage of the digital platform? Because also, I was listening to your conversation, you find you are self-censoring yourself because you don't want to rattle this snake that is a snake that is online. How do we also move away from self-censorship? Because a lot of them are self-censoring themselves. And remember, our audience are no longer passive, they're active, they're online, they want to hear what you're saying. And one thing I always say, the digital dividends are a lot. People, the online platform is so powerful, especially for women like you. Like, it's such a fertile ground for opportunities. How do we make sure we don't self-censor ourselves? Because that's the problem now we are getting to. And we remember that is the goal of this perpetrator, because we are in a very patriarchal society and they want to make sure they push us down. So how do we not self-censor ourselves at the same time protecting ourselves?
You know, it depends. Be very careful. Look into your habits, social media habits, as we make sure what you post doesn't expose you. You know, be very careful about what you post online, and also attend training. You know that we can't do without the digital platform, digital space. That's where the world is right now. But you just need to be very careful about what you post, and then use it as a sieve. Every conversation that is online or whatever is said about you, know what to take in and know what to throw away. You know, that's what I keep telling people. If you feel you can't engage or respond to someone, don't respond. Don't feel the pressure that, because someone said something, you want to respond to them and blah, blah, blah. No, just measure what you say, what you post, who you engage online, and make sure that whatever you post there is constructive. It's for your benefit or the benefit of your followers, you know? So just be careful about what you post. And then attending training, regular training, to be able to know like how to use these platforms. As you said, there are very many opportunities online.
Very many.
See, someone is making millions from showing people how to make chapatis online.
Can you imagine?
So it depends on how you want to use the social media platforms, but there are very many. Yes, there are threats, but there are many, many opportunities that you can use online to grow you, to grow your career, to reach out to wider audiences, to sell your products. So just attend trainings, engage people, ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. So that you know like how to use and tap into these opportunities. Because I look at social media as a gold mine with very many untapped opportunities.
It is a gold mine.
So look at it from a perspective, a selfish perspective as well, to be able to see how to grow your profile, grow your product, grow whatever, the engagements, change people's mindset online, So attending training and workshops, because there's a time we had a conversation about AI. So many journalists right now feel threatened by AI. I went to China. Those people already have digital employees. Like they've already moved on, Social media is here, digital platforms, new technologies, people are already engaging online, digital employees. In China, they're using ChatGPT every day, but so many of us are afraid of using ChatGPT, although some are misusing it. But the world has moved on. So you need to change and move with the changing trends and changing times. So keeping yourself updated, upskilling, attending training, engaging people positively, there's so much that we can do. Even as a journalist, as a content creator, you identify your audience online and curate content tailor-made for them. Yeah, content that is positive, so content that will impact them positively, because even when I'm doing my show, sometimes I ask myself, yes, I'm having this conversation, so what? By the end of the conversation, my audience will have benefited from it, or will it be a waste of time? Is there value for the time they've given me? That 1 hour time they've given me,
yes,
or attention they've given me. So sometimes even when you post, ask yourself, so what? What is it for? What's the end game? How will people benefit from it? So you don't just post because people are posting. Sometimes people will just post content that exposes them.
Exactly.
Even the young people, especially young people. There's a research that was done by Aga Khan University that looks into, Gen Zs and millennials, how they consume news, what they want to see, what they want to watch. Most of them just want to know how to make money. And that's why many of them will expose themselves. Someone will post naked photos, and you ask yourself, what's the end game? You're looking at today. Why are we short-sighted? Why are we not looking at the future? As they say, social media doesn't forget. You post these naked photos. Tomorrow you'll be someone's mom.
Yeah.
It
a CEO somewhere.
Yeah, CEO somewhere. And as you talk about CEO, right now when people are looking for jobs, you asked about your social media accounts. Have you noticed that?
Yes, they even search for you.
They want to see what you post, the kind of engagements that you have online. So let's not be so short-sighted. Be careful about what you post online, because it will come to haunt you someday, So you have to be very, 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 very careful. Usibebwe na mawimbi ya social media and then you forget
yourself.
Know that the same way siku yenye utakufa utazikwa peke yako. Know that your life, your career is wewe mwenyewe. When you're looking for that job, you'll not go with the many people that you partner with online to troll people and bring people down. Siku moja, that will come to haunt you. So you have to be very careful how you use social media. Yeah.
Just to add on that, also the social media use, I always tell people, look at the social media where you're posting your work. For example, LinkedIn is a very serious platform. Post the meeting that you went to, talk about some work that you did, but it's not a place to post a photo looking cute somewhere in Nairobi National Park. You have to know. Yeah. On Twitter, you can try and combine both. You can do a cocktail. You can decide to post a nice photo. But as a journalist, I always believe also on X, try and take advantage, because there's a very large Kenyan community. On Facebook, is Mukuru kwa Zuckerberg. You can do anything there. You can post your stuff and all that. So also be wary where you're putting your stuff. And also it is in places like social media where you can be able to get, especially if you are a journalist, you can get consultancies. So I always encourage people.
Sell your profile.
Sell your profile. There's one of my mentors, Natasha from African Outfitter. She said, success is for the self-promoters. You have to promote yourself.
Yes.
If you sit there and wait for someone to promote Zubeidah, you will wait. Yes. You'll wait. So take advantage of that. And I always say Kenya, because we are trendsetters in the journalism field. I mean, we're trailblazers. It's no secret. So I believe we have a very powerful audience, and we have a very powerful stage that we can be able to take advantage. And to add on that, we have female leaders. Oh my God, like it's a new dawn. I'm very excited, and I just want to hear your parting shot. What do you have to say? What advice would you give women like yourself who've gone through online harassment, who will still go through online harassment until we get a solution? Yes.
Yes. So love you. Love you. And, as we say, create your profile, sell yourself online. There are very, very many opportunities. And attend training. I keep emphasizing on that, because you're able to know what kind of content can I post on Instagram, what kind of content can I post on Facebook, because these audiences are totally different. And you'll only know that if you attend training. What can I post on TikTok? What can I post on X? All these different platforms. Just attend training, love you, prioritize you, sell your profile, be very careful who you engage, what you post online. Watch out for that, because it says a lot about you and the way people perceive you online. So be very careful about what you post there. Network. I love networking. Network all the time. How much does it cost to print a business card? Print a business card. When you go for these assignments, give out your business card.
And the people ask. And every time you're like, I don't have.
The most unfortunate thing that we do as journalists, most of the time we attend these press conferences. After their press conference, you leave. You don't engage these people. And you meet very high-profile people.
True.
You meet the president. And then after the recording, you just walk out and leave. Engage them, network, create networks, because you never know the doors that these networks will open. You hear of a media workshop, attend that media workshop and go with your business card, or just give them your number. You never know the kind of opportunities this will create. And going back to social media, be very careful what you post. Don't expose yourself. Don't expose your family. There are times you just want to post your kid all the time.
Excitement.
The school uniform. The school, posting where you live, posting don't expose yourself. Don't expose yourself, because you don't know the people that are online. The people that you're engaging online, what their intentions are. These are not your friends. They are your followers.
That's
what
we confuse. We think they're our friends.
No. They are therefore, there are those who want to use you to get clicks, likes, followers, blah, blah, blah. There are those who are just there to bring you down. There are those who are there for their selfish interest. So be very careful. What you engage them on, how you engage them, what you post, what you comment on, what you respond to. And I think you'll be safe. And please use these available platforms to grow you. Interact with people online. We have very, high-profile people on social media. Reach out to them, engage them, talk to them, ask questions, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. There are very many opportunities.
There's so many.
And develop thick skin. People will say, not everybody who smiles at you likes you. People will say negative stuff, but they shouldn't bring you down. Leo wako hapo, kesho hawako. Just move on with your life. Yeah. I think that's
Thank you so much. I mean, you're a true testimony that you got through it, and you're still standing. Imagine. Because Zubeidah,
even after the appointment to the task force, people are like, the same people that were trolling me, saying that I'm bringing down the government. So the same government has appointed me to the task force and seeking my, consulting me on how to grow the broadcast media and all that. Sasa wewe na matusi yako bado uko pale.
Exactly. And I feel you're the right person, because you have experienced it. You know what it feels. So when you speak, you're speaking out.
So long as unajijua and you know what you're doing is for the public good, the rest, hizo ni kelele za chura.
I like that. So, Zubeidah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being part of Digital Dada Podcast. As we start the 16 days of activism, we've begun it on a high note, because we are saying that the internet is gender blind. Everyone deserves a space on the internet. Everyone deserves to be safe. We need to encourage healthy conversations online. So this episode has been made possible by our friends, our partners in PEN America. They are an organization based in New York. They have an amazing manual online online harassment manual. As I said, I'm going to put a link down there. Please check out their online harassment manual where they talk about the issue of cyber violence, how you can take care of yourself, how employers can be able also to take care of their employees, how we can form something called cyber communities to be able also to protect ourselves. So with that, thank you so much. And please go out there and let's make sure that women and girls are safe. Women and girls are taking advantage of the online platform. And most importantly, we are closing the gender digital divide every day. See you in the next episode.